I want you to pirate my movie. I know, piracy is illegal, but in this case, it isn't.
And even if it was, you should do it anyway because it's really cool.
Piracy is just a nefarious label used by billion-dollar companies to scare you into not exercising your individual rights. And in case you're unaware, file sharing, or piracy as billionaires like to refer to it as, is actually completely legal.
I don't think really people ever thought that we'd be in a situation where someone would actually police home taping or come in and say, well, these video recorders are now illegal and now they ought to be taken off the market or out of your homes.
In 1984, the Supreme Court rules that copying a piece of copyrighted media onto a recording tape is completely legal. The giant corporations that were lobbying against the technology that made this possible couldn't really prove that the copies that regular people were making were really cutting into their profits, and the judges over the case saw that the copies that were being made by people were only being used for personal reasons, and therefore posed no real threat to the legitimate copies that were already on the market. I am vastly oversimplifying the case here, but suffice to say, when this ruling came down in 1984, it sent media companies into a frenzy. They were not happy about it, but it did allow for regular people to record movies and TV shows that aired on TV onto a VHS tape, and realistically probably share them as well. Even though that wasn't explicitly made legal in the ruling, it was basically legal by default because that was kind of hard to monitor. If you made a copy of a movie that aired on TV at some point and gave it to your cousin Bill, who's gonna fucking know unless you tell somebody? Bottom line, this ruling infuriated a lot of media companies. So in the 90s, when they found out that on the internet you could also copy and share copyrighted media, they passed a cute little law called the DMCA, or the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. This essentially made copy and sharing any copyrighted piece of media online completely illegal, even though doing the same thing on a physical tape was pretty much made legal a decade ago. Also, side note, but if you've ever heard one of your favorite YouTubers talking about how one of their favorite videos was completely wiped off the platform due to copyright abuse, you can thank this law for making that kind of copyright abuse possible. And thus, the anti-file sharing campaign began. Now, on every DVD and Blu-ray that you purchased, you were not only hit with several unskippable screens telling you that piracy was a crime, but also, as many of us know, it spawned some infamously stupid propaganda commercials. Now, of course, despite everything I just said, I would never encourage anyone watching this video to pirate copyrighted material and upset our corporate overlords. After all, those billionaires need the $10 they would make from a Blu-ray sale far more than a regular Joe Blow working 40 hours a week only to barely afford rent. No, I am not saying that you should pirate copyrighted material, but what I am saying is that file sharing itself is not illegal. If you're watching this video right now, you are partaking in a legal form of file sharing. As long as the piece of media has not been copyrighted by some greedy corporation, you are free to copy it and share it as much as you like. You can also copy and share something if the copyright holder gives you express permission to do so. There are even certain pieces of media that are codified under a public domain license, which allow you to copy and share it freely without any fear of legal repercussions. And it is for all of these reasons that I am telling you to pirate my movie. My name is Randall Kendrick. I am the sole copyright owner of the film The Steel Garden, and if you are watching this video, then I give you express permission to download and share my movie all over the internet. And for those people who aren't watching this video, they're covered too, because I've put The Steel Garden under a public domain license that allows anyone to freely share, copy, and remix my film as long as they give me credit as the creator and don't use their copies or derivative works for commercial purposes. So now that you have permission from the copyright owner and the movie itself is codified under the public domain, you are free to pirate away. For those of you who know how to torrent, you can go to the Pirate Bay, 1337X, or the Torrent Galaxy to download an exclusive release of The Steel Garden, which includes exclusive photos and videos which will not be made public by me anywhere else. This is Randall, future Randall, who's editing this video, and I just wanted to say that I don't know why I didn't mention this when I was filming, but instead of going to any of those websites I just listed, you can literally just go in the description of this video or the Steel Garden itself to find a direct link to the torrent of the movie. In fact, I recommend you doing that over the method that I put in this video because when I was filming this video, I erroneously thought that it would be very easy to be able to gain access to upload to those sites, and it is not. So, which is totally fine because you can still download and seed torrents without them being on a hosting site like that. If you're watching the video soon after it's posted, there's a good chance the Steel Garden torrent won't be on those sites. If you're watching it months later, it may be on there. Either way, the easiest and quickest way to download the torrent is actually through the link in the description of this video or in the Steel Garden itself. Sorry about the confusion. Again, I should have actually mentioned this in the actual video, but that's my bad.
For those of you who have no idea what torrenting is, or you're too afraid to touch it because the propaganda campaign worked and now you're afraid if you go on Pirate Bay, the FBI is going to raid your house, the rest of this video is for you. First things first, you're going to need to download and install a VPN. And now before I get into this, I want to say I'm not sponsored by any VPN. Don't click away. I swear this is not a segue into a sponsorship. But yeah, you're going to need a VPN. It's just safe to do so. Obviously, VPNs are associated with torrenting copyrighted content, but in this case, you just want to do it to protect your data and privacy. Mistakes do happen when you're browsing these kinds of sites. There are malicious people out there that will put fucked up shit that looks like other shit that you might actually want. So you want to make sure that your address and personal information is safe and doesn't end up on the deep web on some kind of forum for hitmen. There are a number of free VPNs you can use. I'm going to leave a link for those down in the description. They don't require any money. They're usually a little slow and might slow down your internet connection, but if you have absolutely no money to afford a VPN, these are options for you. There are obviously a countless number of paid VPNs. The one that I personally use is called Mullvad VPN. Once again, not sponsored. I do not have a sponsor from Mullvad. I promise you that. This is just a personal recommendation. It's a really cheap VPN. It's only about $5 or $6 a month. If you want to make discrete payments, you can. It doesn't lock you into a 1 or 2 year contract like a lot of other paid VPNs do, which was a really big deal for me because if something happens and I just kind of want to cancel it because bills are getting tight, I can. So if it sounds like a good option for you, I'll leave a link to their website down in the description as well. Once again, not sponsored, just a genuine recommendation. And if you want to seek out any other paid VPNs, once again, there's a countless number of them out there. If you watch YouTube, I'm sure you've seen some sponsorships for ones that I'm not going to mention, but the one I recommend is Mullvad for personal reasons only. Also, this should go without saying, but make sure you have a good antivirus installed on your computer as well. Now that you've downloaded and installed a VPN, you need to do the same thing for a torrent client. A torrent client is a program that helps you actually download the torrent from the file that you download, because otherwise you'll download the torrent file and it'll just sit uselessly on your computer. You won't be able to open it. There are a number of torrent clients to choose from, just like VPNs. I personally use Vuse, but a lot of other people like using Deluge, QBitTorrent, and uTorrent. You can do your own research and find which one suits your needs the best. But I'll try to leave some resources in the description if I can. But bottom line, just find one that you like, download it, and install it. Once that's done, go to Pirate Bay 1337X or Torrent Galaxy and search the Steel Garden.
Or just do what I said earlier and just click the link in the description of the video or in the description of the Steel Garden itself, which is a direct link to the torrent for the movie. Once again, I do apologize I didn't mention that the entirety of the original version of this video, but now you know. It's the best way to do it, and if you're watching this video shortly after it's uploaded, probably the only way to do it. So
there you will find a torrent file for my movie. Hit the download button or copy and paste the link into your torrent client. As long as the file has seeders that are uploading information to that torrent, you should be able to download the file in a relatively short amount of time. And once you've done that, congratulations! You just pirated your first movie. Feels good, doesn't it? Now, I give you all this information in the good faith that you will not use it to pirate copyrighted media. After all, if a lot of people started doing that, a Hollywood billionaire might cry on the news. And we wouldn't want that, now would we? The last thing that I'll ask of you is to not share any of the exclusive content found in the Steel Garden torrent file. You are free, completely free, to share the movie as you want. I'm perfectly fine with that. But the exclusive photos and videos I mentioned, if you would please keep those exclusive to the torrent release, I would really appreciate it. And for those of you who do plan on downloading and sharing my movie, first of all, thank you. Second of all, just remember to give me credit as the director, and if you can, link to this YouTube channel, Randall the Vandal. I really appreciate it. If you have followed my instructions in this video, then thank you so much for downloading, sharing, and watching this Steel Garden. I hope you all enjoy it.